Right, hey guys, how are we doing? So, Season 3 of Is It Wrong to Try and Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, or also known as DanMachi, has recently started. I watched episode 1, I loved it. I love DanMachi's class. Season 2 was Boss, that was a nice little thing to watch during lockdown, and Season 3, I just watched it straight away. Usually I like to binge stuff, but as soon as I seen episode 1, I was like, cool. And then I was scrolling through my subscriptions, my recommended, and I noticed that Annie News had this Bell's Power and Stats Explained, and I've not checked it out. And I'm thinking, that'd be pretty damn cool to see. So, let's check it out, shall we? God, I'm good at rhyming. Here we go.
Bell is a special adventurer.
Yes, he is.
He levels up much faster than everyone else.
He really freaking does.
Go above and beyond the max S rank.
Oh.
Going all the way to the double S and triple S ranks that
Just add those S's.
Familia knows exist.
Yo.
But what does all that actually mean? I mean, leveling is one of those components that you hear mentioned a lot throughout the anime. It plays a significant role in dictating
But
the
what
power
is
level of all
leveling?
characters,
Oh my
yet
god,
we're
that
never given
fight was
any
so cool.
context as to how it all works. All we ever see or hear is that X character leveled up and is now significantly stronger.
Yeah, but stronger than who and how?
In
what kind of
exactly
stats?
how strong he is compared to everyone else. In Aurario, the ability to level up, gain experience, and subsequently go stronger all stem from what's called a fauna. A central concept in the world of DanMachi that we've only ever seen a couple of times in the anime.
But they only unlock it when the
black markers implanted onto the backs of newly
whoever's head of their family can unlock it, isn't it?
Every member has one, and they're meant to signify the fact that they've received a blessing from their god or goddess.
Right, okay, yeah.
But simply calling it a blessing is a rather tame way of putting it. The fauna does a lot more than you would originally think for the person receiving it.
Okay, like what?
Reason being that it basically involves the god incorporating a portion of their divine powers, aka their arcanum, into the adventure.
Oh.
This includes a bit of the essence of their being that allows them to be immortal. Which is why when an adventurer gains a fauna, they begin to age more slowly, resulting in their lifespan essentially increasing.
That's sick. Well, that makes sense.
Sure, he may still look like a young boy, which is rather normal for a fully matured prum, but he's actually over 40 years old.
Whoa.
Mind you, though, that this does not make the adventurers themselves immortal. It also doesn't affect puberty. The stage of life that's affected the most is adulthood. However, the actual rate at which people age is all dependent on the type of person and their level.
That makes sense.
See,
Gods
the
are
higher
immortal,
level
man.
you
They don't
become,
age.
The stronger you get, because you've absorbed more divine power into your being.
Right.
Thus growing your fauna. Hestia likes to put it this way. Every time an adventurer goes up in level, they move one step closer to godhood. And each step closer to godhood makes you age more slowly. Still not quite letting you live forever, but making it
Still letting you live longer. Yeah, that's sick.
Now, whether someone could become such a high level that they practically become a demigod is a whole other question. But I wouldn't doubt its achievability. In that same vein, the amount of power or vitality you can receive from this fauna also depends on the type of person and their level. It's no secret that it gives you a massive boost in your physical abilities, but the extent to which these abilities can grow is all different. That's where Excellia comes in.
Excellia!
It's a more advanced type of
Not
experience
Excelsior.
Experience that works towards fueling the fauna. Just like in an RPG video game, a fauna allows adventurers to work towards upgrading their own individual stats. Normal people who have yet to receive a blessing from their god are pretty much all level 0. They have minimal stats and would be completely useless if they were to try to fight even most basic of monsters.
Yeah, they couldn't do that,
But once they receive that fauna, it basically automatically upgrades them to level 1.
Oh, right, so the boost is
what we would refer to as a status,
instant.
and giving them power that is significantly stronger than a normal human.
Okay.
This status displays 5 key
So it's not just giving the ability to rank up, it ranks you up straight away.
Basic abilities, development abilities, magic, skills, and level. Excellia works towards upgrading or
Excellia!
but the area in which you can see its effects the most is with the basic abilities. This is broken down to the fundamental areas of strength, defense, dexterity, agility, and magic. Within every level, each basic ability has one of 10 ranks, S being the strongest and I the weakest. Alongside these letters are a numerical score value that displays exactly how strong an individual is in that area. A score of 0 to 99 ranks you at I, 100 to 199 ranks you at H, and so on and so forth, right, okay. With that being the max value that a person can reach. Unless, of course, your bell, which I'll soon explain. But as an adventurer gets stronger, it also gets harder to grow their fauna, and it eventually becomes extremely
Well, it's just basic leveling within RPGs, isn't it?
Think of it like an inverse exponential curve, where going up the levels means more higher quality experiences
Is needed.
To boost
Yeah,
your stats,
God.
resulting in a slower rate of growth. But before even getting
But once you get that level, oh my
I'm
God.
sure you want to know how someone even goes about gathering that experience in the first place. Well, that brings us back to the concept of Excelia. As I recently said, it's essentially the experience system that fuels a person's growth. But the way it functions is a little bit different from what you would expect from a typical RPG. Excelia works in tandem with the following.
I just want to shout it
Gaining
every time.
Excelia can be done through a variety of means. For starters, you can get some by just exercising your basic abilities. So, say Bell wanted to improve his defense stats. All he would have to do is get hit a few times by some
Just get
monsters,
beat
and
the hell
that
up.
experience of taking damage will go towards increasing his defenses. The improvement would be marginal, of course, but doing so over and over again would eventually make a big difference. Then, say Bell wants to raise his agility next. He can do so by running around and dodging attacks, something that we see him do quite a lot.
Yeah,
which
he
is
does.
why
Yeah.
his agility stats are so much higher than the rest.
Oh,
The thing
wow.
about this method of upgrading your
Whoa.
stats though, is that the Excelia gained in the moment through whatever adventure or obstacle you've just overcome doesn't reflect immediately on your fauna. Reason being that your fauna does not upgrade
Excuse me,
your
sorry.
stats in real time with your experiences. In order for any Excelia to be adapted into your stats, your fauna has to be updated by your god. Only after this happens,
Yeah, that's what I
will
thought part of the
Excelia
process was,
be
yeah.
distributed towards the development of the
So you've got the
hero
stats, but they don't
abilities
proper
or
kick in
skills
until, like, the head of the family
The
goes
reason it works like this is actually
on the back.
pretty interesting, because this is where Excelia starts to branch off from the typical experience point systems
So
and really
they are
focus on the literal
a
experience.
necessity for leveling
You see,
up.
Excelia is something that
Defend the head of the
basically tells
family,
gods
you can
what
get
path
stronger.
an individual has walked up to that point. It's literally a recount of their child's experiences. A god basically reads a person's history through their Excelia.
Wow.
And it's by doing this that they will know if that person slew a monster, fought an army, or simply
Oh, they
just
see
had a
how
good
they
bit of
got there,
practice.
right? That's cool.
Everything someone has accomplished, both quality and amount, shows up. in
That's
Excelia.
sick. Whoa.
The gods will see their life story, see their achievements, then update the hieroglyphs of their children's fauna to match what the Excelia has shown them. In order for this process to happen, a goddess like Hestia must first drop a bit of her blood onto Bel's fauna. The blood will reveal Bel's statuses, cause them to rise up, and allow them to be modified.
That's sick.
Hestia is the only one that can do this for Bel.
Mm.
No god can update, overwrite,
You
or
can
erase the fauna
switch,
of
though.
someone that isn't a part of their familia. So, to clarify, Excelia are the
Didn't they have
actual
someone
events
I'm
that
sure
Bel
they can
experience
switch.
while on adventures or in combat, which go towards improving the key parameters defined by the basic abilities, development abilities, magic, skills, and levels as provided by the fauna. Now, Excelia varies based on the encounter. The quality of it depends on how difficult the task is in comparison to your level, which is why as you get stronger, it gets harder to level up. Initially, every encounter you face will be a challenging one. Therefore, you'll receive high-quality Excelia all the time and grow faster. But if you're level 4 and are still just farming monsters on the lowest level of
It's not gonna give you much.
then that really won't do much to improving your level 4 stats.
You're gonna do that for
Sure, it
a
may have
long
worked
time.
at level 1, but now you likely won't be making it to level 5 at all. Eyes actually runs into this problem fairly often. It's pretty difficult or damn near impossible for her to find monsters that would significantly improve her stats without having to go on a serious expedition. Bel, on the other hand, is a good example of the opposite. He's constantly putting himself against opponents
Yeah,
that are
he's
far more
always, like,
powerful
far
than he is.
stronger. They're
So
like,
the
oh god,
difficulty
this
in
sucks.
proportion to his level is often much higher.
That makes
resulting
sense.
in gaining
I like
a
this,
fairly
yeah.
large amount
That's
of
why he
high
goes up so
quality
quick.
Which in turn allows him to improve his basic abilities and level up very fast. But simply getting all your basic ability attributes to the S rank isn't enough to level you up.
Oh.
The act of leveling is one that involves overloading the soul with Excelia. So you just can't grind the same monsters over and over again. It's not a viable method. Even if they were slightly stronger than you, it's not something that classifies as a grand feat worthy of boosting you up an entire level. There's actually no well-defined method behind what allows someone to level up. For some reason, the light novel likes to keep it very ambiguous. All we know is that the adventurer has to have at least one basic ability at the D rank
Right.
and must complete an amazing task.
Do something
It's gotta
amazing.
be a feat so spectacular
Oh my
that it
god,
will not
she
only
was
impress the
way
gods, but
strong.
also overload your fauna with Excelia, pushing your stats
Which
to
was
the upper
weird.
ranks. Mind you, normal adventurers tend to plateau before that, rarely ever reaching the A or S ranks. The average adventurer will typically have stats between 500 and 800 before they level up.
Right.
Many find it way too difficult to get beyond that. It's the reason why half of the total adventurers in Arario are stuck at level 1, forced to stay within their small familias. Those who actually manage to complete a spectacular feat and get to level 2 often live in larger familias, which just by being in one makes it easier to level up. But what classifies as spectacular?
Yes, what's
Well,
amazing?
that's significant depending on the level. For Bell, him facing off against that Minotaur at level 1 was something amazing,
Right.
even by the gods' standards. But if Eyes was to do that same thing against that same monster, well, I doubt that would even move her basic ability stats.
Right, because she could just do that.
So, usually the best way to level up is to take on opponents that are a higher level.
Really strong.
I mean, that's what Bell seems to be doing
All
every
the
time.
time.
But for someone that isn't Bell, attempting to take on opponents that are a higher level all by yourself will most likely result in death. Bell has special circumstances that allow him to do heroic feats like this all the time, which I'll talk more about towards the end of the video.
Okay.
Now, when a person finally levels up, two things will happen. First, you'll receive a significant boost to all your stats.
Cool.
However, there's no fixed number that can quantify exactly how much you've improved. The general consensus is, regardless of how high or low your level 1 stats were when you leveled, a level 2 will always be stronger than a level 1.
Right,
That's
yeah,
just how
okay.
much of a difference a whole level makes. But even if the stat boost was something like plus 1000 on all attributes, we won't ever actually know because of the second thing that happens. When reaching the next level, all stats will reset back to I0.
Oh.
Now, that doesn't mean that the level 1 stats are gone, though. They're still
It
there
just
as
means
a
they're
hidden
there, but that's the
baseline, in addition to
base for the
whatever
next
boost was
level.
received from leveling up.
Right.
Knowing this, the next question then becomes, how do we track the overall power of people who are higher than level 1? Well, let's use Bell as an example.
Okay.
After Bell had defeated the Minotaur, his level 1 stats were completely overloaded to the
Whoa,
max.
double S
Like,
rank.
beyond that of what was considered normal since they went past the supposed max rank of S999
Oh.
and reached the double and triple S ranks which lies in the thousands. These numbers will act as the baseline for those attributes.
So.
After updating his fauna and reaching level 2, even though his stats now show I0, the double and triple S stats from level 1 are
Carry
still technically
over
there
there,
as
part of that
parameters.
base.
Now,
Jeez.
if we look at when Bell defeated the Black Goliath,
Oh my god.
his stats all increased to the mid-ranks of D to B. So, what you do with these is take the numbers from the same attributes and add them to the base ones from level 1.
Oh yeah, of course that way that works, yeah.
The final summed number will be what Bell's overall stats are for that
Interesting.
specific
That's
attribute.
cool.
And just to highlight a bit better how Excelia literally works with anything, when Bell got punched a few times by Hyacinthus, his defense stat had improved from D590 to D594. It just goes to show that even getting stomped by a higher level opponent still works towards your overall improvement. I'm sure you're wondering though, didn't I just say that the max rank was S?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah.
How does
I
double
did,
S work?
'cause
Triple S?
technically it is S. So then, how does Bell have stats in
Yeah.
double S and triple S? Well, as I've been saying, Bell is a very special exception. Most adventurers reach a point where they think they can level up, then immediately go try to overload their Excelia to complete the process. Reason being that a lot of adventurers don't want to waste their time gaining Excelia that counts for less. The grind to cap their stats at the A and S ranks is a long and strenuous one. Most would rather level up as soon as possible in order to get that quick boost and fight stronger enemies, than risk fighting those same stronger enemies at a lower level for a marginal return. To them, boosting lower level stats isn't worth putting off boosting higher level stats. Even though in the long run it would be more beneficial to their overall power, the time
consuming,
is just
yeah.
too much. It could take months,
Wow.
even years to get from that A to S rank. So why bother when you can just get an immediate power boost by only having a single D rank? Remember, the only real condition to leveling up is to have a single D rank in one of the basic attributes. The rest comes down to your personal abilities.
Right.
As for Bell, he doesn't necessarily
So his
see the
base is
benefits
always
of
really
leveling
freaking
up.
high.
It just kind of happens as a byproduct of his Realis Freeze ability, more formally known as Single-Minded Pursuit, Realis Freeze. This was a skill developed from his experience with the Minotaur in Episode 1. After Bell was saved by Eyes, he developed a determination to become as strong as her. The skill then manifested itself after his next update, and what it does is accelerate his rate of growth so long as that feeling of determination
Is still
remains the same.
there. Right.
The effect of the skill is directly proportional to those feelings, so the more Bell feels that desire to match Eyes' strength, the faster he will grow.
Right.
As we
Bloody
know,
hell.
Bell often, if not all the time, has that flaming passion,
Yes.
and it only continues to grow every time he encounters a new enemy or feels dwarfed by someone else. In a practical sense, it's basically like he's using a quadruple experience buff. It provides such an increased rate of growth that it allows him to completely bypass the plateau that normal adventurers would experience when maxing out their stats towards A and S. In fact, it's so fast that it will sometimes completely blow past the supposed S limit and reach double S or triple S that not even members of the Loki Familia know exist. This brings with it an interesting concept that would shake the very foundations of Aurario if it came to be true. It would also explain how Bell has been able to keep up with higher-leveled adventurers.
Okay,
What I'm talking about is that in some cases, Bell's extremely overloaded stats at the lower levels will reach a sum that is higher than the sum of other adventurer stats who are a higher level. His agility is a good example of this, because as his best attribute with a triple S rank in every level, when summing those numbers together,
whoa, that's higher than what would be,
adventurers who are a level above him.
Yeah.
Meaning that there are times where Bell could be level 3 and have stats that match or
this makes sense as to why he can keep up with people that are stronger than him in certain places. That's class.
Current stats are as follows.
Like, it's not just pulled out of nowhere. This is a really good explanation,
but
yeah.
taking into account his previous level stats puts him much, much higher. For context, he beat Aisha with these stats while she was a newly upgraded level 4. So it's pretty safe to assume that in his current state, he can keep up with most mid to low level 4 adventurers. Anyway, that's pretty much how the stats on basic abilities
That's really
work.
good video
However,
explaining that.
That's not the only aspect that we should focus on.
Oh.
There's still magic, skills, and development abilities that contribute to an adventurer's status. Development abilities are special abilities that have a chance of manifesting after every level. They're essentially rewards for leveling up. There could be one, none, or even multiple that appear. But in the end, you can only choose one. Bell's development ability is called Luck. Hestia likens it to a form of divine protection. Though its exact
being
effects aren't
lucky.
quite known, people assume that when it's activated, it draws out some of Hestia's arcanum, which then goes towards protecting Bell. Other development abilities include Isis Hunter, which improves attacks against monsters she's fought before, or Welf's Blacksmith, which allows him to add special abilities to his creations. The abilities that manifest for each person are all different, and it depends on the way they control their fauna and excelia. Certain excelia from certain tasks lead to certain abilities. It's not just given at random. In any case, much like the basic abilities, these are also ranked from I to S, and can be improved over time with rigorous training. But since these don't reset on a level up, it takes significantly more effort and time to improve them. Skills, on the other hand, are abilities that can develop at any time, usually taking the form of passive buffs to specific offensive or defensive traits. Skills that are unique to the person are said to be rare, whereas skills that are shared between other adventurers are known to be common. The skills that do end up being developed are not only influenced by an adventurer's excelia, but also by their personality. Looking at Bell once again, we already know he has Realis Freeze. His other skill
Yes,
is
like
much
that's
more prominent in
born
the hero.
from the
It's
way
called
he is.
the Hero's Wish Argonaut, a skill derived from his desire to become a hero. It's an attack that requires a few minutes of charging in order to be unleashed.
Oh my God.
While Bell envisions himself as the hero, white light will begin to gather around his hand, which can then be released in a massive beam of energy. We've seen it come in clutch time and time again to overcome a lot of the big bosses. In my opinion, other skills aren't so powerful, but regardless of what they may be, each seem to have a good synergy with the adventurer that they're tied to. Finally, we get to magic. This comes in two different types, innate and acquired. As the term innate suggests, this magic can be naturally used by those whose abilities and races allow it. The downside is that these races are often limited to the types of magic that they can use. However, the strength and scale of the ones that they can use are often very high. Acquired magic refers to magic
Stuff that you learn.
abilities gained through a fauna.
Yeah.
With this type, any magic can be gained regardless of race. There are almost no restrictions, and it can take on many different forms. The exact effects, though, are heavily dependent on excelia, and magic like this requires a chant in order to be cast. The longer the chant, the stronger it is. Now,
The longer the chant, the stronger it is. That's funny.
3 magic spells, the occurrence of even one is rather rare. In Bell's case, it was extremely unlikely for him to learn any, as he showed little interest in attempting to do so. You see, most magic users were quite intelligent, but Bell just didn't seem like the type of person to want to sit down and study. Nevertheless, he still understood the importance of magic, since for a close-quarters combat specialist like him, a ranged mage would be a very bad matchup. That's why Bell's Firebolt makes his chances of surviving a magic fight a little bit more even. Though, you may have noticed that this spell's a little bit different from the others. It's a rare breed belonging to a selection of spells known as Swift Strike Magic. Because of this, it requires no incantation. All Bell has to do to cast it
Point
is
his
simply
hand.
say Firebolt.
Oh, right, so
No incantation means that
it's
overall
not saying
power
nothing then.
is substantial. However, it could be combined with his Argonaut skill.
Picky
to
though,
make it
so
significantly
it
stronger.
doesn't have to do an enchantment, but he still has to say Fireball.
His 2 skills, luck, development ability, stats, and level, are all described on the fauna markings on his back. every adventurer's fauna displays all these parameters. But unlike Belle, who has them visibly showing at all times, most adventurers tend to have them hidden. Anyway, that's pretty much how the leveling and experience systems work. Clearly, Belle is a very special individual who has
Yes, he
literally every
is.
aspect
And he's so nice and accepting of monsters that look like little girls.
Of course, that's to be expected given the nature
I'm really
of the
intrigued to see where
story,
Season 3
but
goes. I love
with
it.
his
I love that
current
it's back.
abilities
It's
and
awesome.
rate of growth, it's definitely a possibility for him to eventually surpass Eyes. There's even an interesting Reddit post that calculates and compares Belle's growth against Eyes and a few others. A few assumptions had to be made, but the overall math is pretty sound. According to the post, a level 5 Belle will start to have stats that surpass the current level 6 Eyes.
Oh.
So it'll be interesting to see if that actually comes true in the anime.
Yeah.
As always, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this type of anime content, then you already know what to do. So, until next time.
Ciao. That was a good video. That was really, really good explanation on how it all works, because I was just like, wait. At first, and then as you got into it, it's like, okay, this makes sense. The stats you have carry over in the base, and then you build upon it. That's brilliant. So then if you have a low one, that's still going to stay low in comparison to... That's great. That's really cool. I like it. That's boss. And I'm so happy that DanMachi is back. It's brilliant. And didn't wait that long. I'm pretty sure it was during lockdown that Season 2 was on. Or maybe before, and then I binged it, quite possibly. But still, that's not as long as what we wait for other things, surely. But anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. And I'll see you guys. I saw you guys next time.